Okay, you can sit back the way you were sitting back earlier. No, 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 no. You are okay now. Comfortably. Sit
Oh,
comfortably the way, yeah. You don't need to slide anymore. Come back on.
okay.
Yeah, the most comfortable you could be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay. I'm comfortable.
Are you sure? You might want to make your head higher a little bit. The opposite. The opposite. Yeah, good, good. Excellent. Perfect. Maybe just a bit lower. Yeah, good. Perfect. Perfect. Perfect now. Nothing to, I promise, nothing to regulate anymore.
Okay. I was just trying to refresh my memory of the book.
Yes.
Like this book is so good, and I was trying to like, okay.
Yeah, and a lot of work to do with that book. So we are right now on YouTube,
Okay.
but we will need to be on Facebook before we submit. Oh, okay, sorry. Yes. Okay, let's welcome. I don't see if let's see who is with us on YouTube. Let me see who to welcome. Nobody is greeting us yet, even though they know we're here, but they're not greeting us yet. Okay, let me see. Nobody is saying hi yet on YouTube. Then I'm going to go and greet people on Facebook. Okay, we've got somebody come up. Chris Boboye is here. Blessings. Favor Olabode decided to come on and greet us as well. Uh, okay, let me go on Facebook and greet a few people. You know, I was not supposed to come on today. I was almost sure that I was not going to be able to make this program because I was in the court, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I was in the court. I'm just running back from the court, and we came on time. So this is the court case that God, I think not Satan, God is using to hold me back in the Ukraine. If not for
Okay.
this court case, I would have been in Nigeria, and I would have had a few tens of or dozens of people running to get my head, ready to get my head, and in Nigeria, people would have been looking to get me killed or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we have Nikki Okereke here, Bumigbe Nro, Agatha, Ifi Otaluka, Thuli is here, uh, Awonuse, Stella, Orenuga, Yakubu Farida, Adeola, Abosede Adeyinka, Blessing Ewe, William, Innocent Bagaji, Nero, Pastor Nero, Oshe Frank, Bemi Lawal, Georgia, Bisiola. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome all of you. Please go ahead and Matilda. So what do we call you now?
It doesn't matter. It's still me. Lola, Susan, it's me.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
How is Canada? How is Canada?
Canada is good. It's good. The weather is kind of. We had snow a couple of days ago, so winter is still here. Hopefully, spring will soon decided to come.
You had snow.
Yeah,
You had snow a few days ago.
yeah, it was lots. Yeah,
Wow. We stopped having snow now for like 2 3 weeks.
yeah. It came here 2 days ago. It was
Yeah.
lots.
Now I realize that you want to do this book. You want to review this book.
Yeah,
This is one of my newest books.
yeah,
You are born to make your nation great.
yes.
But this is a very challenging book. That's
It
the
is really valuable.
yes. So I'm surprised because it's one of the latest books. It's one of the newest books. This books is one of the books I just released during the HMT, and few people have even heard of it. Talk less of read it, but you've read it, and
Yeah.
you want to talk about it.
Yes.
You must be a bold woman and a serious lady.
Because I am born to make my nation great.
Yes.
That's why.
And I like that because most people don't have a purpose in life. The only thing they want to make great is themselves and their families.
Yeah. I used to be like that too. I used to think like that. I used to be that kind of person. But I've changed since I started listening to you, since I started following you. You have really transformed. My life has been really transformed since I started following you. It's like 2 years ago, or over 2 years ago now. And I have seen the difference. Like even people around me cannot even recognize me anymore. It's like, oh, who are you becoming and stuff like that. So, and this book is really speaking about me. Like I was like, wow. Like I can see
Don't touch
myself
that
in this book.
don't touch that table too hard because it's making noise. It's reflecting.
Okay.
When you beat on the table, when your hand touches the book, then it comes on. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, the sound, because you are using a device that takes the sound from all over you.
Yeah.
So people are saying that you are different.
Yeah. I'm different for sure. They think that most of the time it's like, who do you think you are? You think you're a god or something? Like, it's like, no, I'm not God, but
It means
I'm a child of God.
Your confidence is overwhelming them.
Yeah.
Now, this is a very serious book. Like I said, you tell us, why did you decide to take on this book? Because this is a revolutionary book. It's not for what I call biomasses. This book is for people who want to become personalities. So, and people who really want to take a challenge and want to leave their footprint on the sand of history. And for you to have been able to read it and then want to review it, it means this is a serious goal we're having in front of us. So why did you decide to, take on this book? Because you have many other books that are, you have many options, but you decided to take on this one.
The reason why I decided this book, because as I said earlier, the book speak about me, because since I started following you, I never knew who I was before. I was living in a lie. And once I started following you and even doing the HMT, makes me to discover myself more. And like from listening from you, like I thought that my life was just having kids, married, and go to church Sunday, go to work and provide for your family. That's what I thought life was about. But when I started listening to you, I started my country, like in this book, like my country, I started seeing problems in my environment, like in my workplace. I started seeing problems. In my country. Like I'm originally from Sierra Leone. I started seeing problems. It's like, oh my God, I am the solution. I can bring solution to these problems that are going on. Like I can see the healthcare system. You talk about the healthcare system here. You talk about the corruption system here. You talk about families, how to raise families and stuff. And you speak in this book that we are the solution. Like people are complaining and not doing anything about it. But there is answers here that I can use and I can transform my nation. So like I am the solution. If me not doing anything, nobody's not going to do anything. We are supposed to bring solution to our society. And basically, we're just complaining all the time and nagging and making excuses. But I have decided like I'm going to take responsibility of my nation, and it doesn't matter what's going to take me, it doesn't matter, but I am ready to sacrifice and transform my nation. So that's why I love this book so much.
And that is not very ladyish. Because ladies want to talk about housewife and household kind of stuff. My kids, my husband, my, marriage, my family. That's what one of the tragedies that my country and maybe Africa in general, but Nigerians, that is one of the tragedies that we have been reduced to, especially Nigerians in the diaspora. For me, I'm like from another planet. I'm like a kind of guy from another planet because and my wife, she's totally not like that. But she was like that maybe when we met, but right now she's totally transformed because most people you see, and especially Nigerians in the diaspora, you notice that their primary concern is about survival, making a living. And that is actually the reason they will give you as to why they came to Europe in the first place. That's why they are immigrants. So they are living the lower life, the low life that settles for me, my family, and the well-being of my home, my children. So, and that is the lowest kind of life. And people don't know that is a low-level living. But now, if you meet my countrymen that I've been meeting from all over the world, everybody just thinks that is the norm. They put their family as number one. They put their well-being as number one, the well-being of their children as number one. But they don't put the well-being, the well-being of God as number one. And what is God's burden should be our number one burden. God's focus, God's heartbeat. Whatsoever is God's heartbeat must be your number one concern. Not your own personal, egocentric, and selfish desires and, aspirations. Those are secondary stuff that God blesses us with. But I like it that you said people can change because you used to be like that. Tell us about that.
Well, for me, I went through lots of struggle, relationship-wise, and I think because of the way God created me, I was born to make my nation good because of the way I was created, and I was always intimidated by men around me. Men are always intimidated by me. They cannot understand me because the way I'm thinking, they always tell me that you think you're white, but you are black. But it's like, because when you know God, and you know who your God is, and you know who is backing you in whatever you do, you become so bold, you become so fearless. And
I want you to tell me more about what you said, that you used to be like those same Africans that used to care more about their families and about their children. And and you said you used to be like that. And I want you to tell me that aspect of your life before you became to now want to take on your country. Tell us your story in that sense, when you used to think that your well-being and family was the most important thing. And I know that you ended up having maybe a few marriages or one or two or children and all that. So, when you want to live for yourself, how does that end? And where does that end you?
So when I came to Canada, that was almost 15 years ago.
How old were you then?
I was 23 years old when I came to Canada. I was 23 and I came to Canada
I'm sorry, I'm going to say, I was thinking that you are 23 now.
No.
No?
No.
Oh, wow.
I'm 30.
Okay, don't worry. You don't need to say, but I will give you 23 right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. So you came to Canada and what?
Canada, I was 33. My concept was, I want to come to Canada to have a better life. That was my concept. I want to have education.
I like that. I like that you are talking about this. Please, you need to explain that to us because that is still the greatest motivation for most Africans today. And they wonder, when they come to Europe or America or Canada, they wonder, why is it that these white people, they want to go to the sky, they want to go to the moon, they want to go and do something, because they are not living for survival. That is why they are becoming history makers. But while we come to the West and we want to get a better life, we want to do, how did that end? What does that lead to? Tell us your story, yeah.
Okay. So I came and my idea was, oh, I just want to come have a good education so I can have a good job, so I can have the best car, a nice house, and then later on and get married because that was my concept. It's like, okay, I'll get that and I'll get married. So because like our family forced us into getting married, it's like, oh, you're a woman, you're supposed to have a relationship. So that was in my mind too. So at the same time, trying to live for survival at the same time, oh, I need to find a husband. I need to find a husband. And that didn't really help me a lot because I made a lot of terrible mistakes because I thought, because when I came, I was alone. I didn't have any mom. I didn't have any dad. I didn't have any person that will like direct me, like give me lead or something. So I was thinking, oh my God, if I can find a husband, maybe that husband will help me better my life. And
but instead of finding a husband, ladies normally find a man, and there is a big
yeah,
difference between finding a man and finding a husband.
yeah. So I found a boyfriend and didn't.
That's what I mean.
I end up getting pregnant. I end up getting pregnant and I end up raising the kid by myself. I'm still raising her. She's 11 years old now, and so that didn't end up raising that. But I was still determined that I was going to go to school. I was going to better my life. Even though I had the kid, that didn't stop me. I pursued education still. And that didn't stop. Since I was doing education, I fall victim again from another man that said he loved me. He wants to take care of me. He wants
because
to,
but the problem is not with the man. The problem
right,
is not even with you. The problem
right,
was that even though you made the first mistake, the reason why you still made the second mistake is because your content, the content of your character, the
yeah,
content of your person had not been changed.
right,
You
yeah,
had not run into this kind of teachings that
right,
what makes life meaningful is not all those things that we are used to using to as the qualification for life. That
right,
these are not the things that make life meaningful. That life is meaningful for through something else.
yeah,
It is different set of rules that makes life meaningful. But when you are brought up in a with a mindset that life is based on how well you are doing financially and on a family kind of understanding of family to be marriage,
yeah,
that is when you keep on making the same mistakes.
yeah,
Even though you've made that mistake, you still keep on repeating it because you have not renewed your file. You have not
yeah,
renewed the recordings that are there that you need to have a husband, you need to have a man. And as
yeah,
long as that is there, that will keep on pushing you in the wrong direction. So
yeah,
now that you are talking differently, you are talking about being born to make your nation great. That is only because you have another set of information.
right,
You've pushed back the previous information and you have renewed your mind with another set of information. That's why you are no more looking for man, but you are looking for a way to leave a stamp in the history and to
yeah,
make a difference in your generation. It's a totally different set of value system.
yeah. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, like as I said, I was running and chasing because I had that concept that is it. You need to have a husband, you need to have children, and you need to have a good job. That's successful when you have those things. And for me, like so, like before, I was thinking, oh my God, I'm a failure. Like I can't even hold on a relationship. So that's how I was thinking before.
Are you
Before I met
serious?
you, yeah, I thought I was a failure because I couldn't.
No.
Yeah. I thought I was
Maybe
a
not only
failure.
you, maybe not just you thinking like that. Maybe a lot of women think that way.
Yeah. And then the men were telling me that too. They were telling me, you're a failure. You are not a good woman. You are. So I was abused with my relationship, my marriage, because I ended up getting married to my second, but then we get divorced. But he was abusing me mentally, emotionally, and he was just, you are a terrible woman, and you cannot even take care of a man. You are a terrible mom. You like he was telling me all these things. So I was like, I'm a failure. Like, why can't I started beating myself like God. I started going to God. It's like, God, like,
psychopathic men, because
Yes.
they themselves, they are they are abusing you, responsible for your failure, and still blaming you for that failure.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I started seeking God. Now it's like, God, I need to change. I need. So then I have few pastors. They will pray. Oh, it's generational curse. You are cursed by your generation. So you need to pray. You need to fast. You need to do this offering. You need to do all these things. And I was doing all of them, but nothing is changing. So and then I started thinking, it's like, I did it once, I did it twice, and nothing is changing. It's just the same.
You are going
And
for
then,
you used to go for deliverance.
yes. There will be, they say, I need deliverance. And so I was doing, I said, okay, I did this deliverance, but nothing is changing. Things are still the same with me. And I said, what is wrong? So I started seeking God myself. It's like, God, I'm doing, so I was desperate for God. I started being desperate for God. It's like, God, I need answers. Like, things cannot just be like this. Like, I need answers. So, how God started working for me in my church here, Pastor Derek Schneider came to my church and he did Easter Maker. So because I was so desperate for God, so I said, okay, we're doing, I said, I need, because all the things that he was talking about is like, okay, I need to find answers. So I did the 3.5 days training. There was a shift. That's when the shift starts. That's when the shift started in my life. My thinking started changing. Like, oh my God, I don't need a man. Like,
I don't need a man. I need to find myself. I need to discover myself. I need to discover him to help me discover myself. And once I discover myself, I need to be able to begin to live the life that he has given to me to live, and live a legacy, and live for him, and fulfill his agenda, his purpose, his goals for my life.
Yeah, so that's when I started, the shift started in my brain, and then I started thinking, and then that's when my eyes was opened, and I started seeing problem all over where I go. That was the same time I went back to Africa, and when I went there, oh my God, my heart was broken because I was seeing the way people were living. I said, this is not right, and my heart was just bleeding. It's like how everywhere I go, I started seeing problem. So then I started getting close to God because I just wanted it. And then I started, you were teaching about the faith, the like prayer series. So that started helping building me up too, like being stronger. So all your broadcasts, I would be all the time. I will come, I was religiously like set out. I work everything out so I can come on to for the broadcast. And so that started changing me. And people, like, so the relationship that I have now, they started seeing me different. It's like, why are you talking like that? Then, so I started thinking, I'm going to change Sierra Leone. I'm going to fix this problem in Sierra Leone. And they started looking at me as funny, like, really? Like, who do you think you are? The people that are more better than you, they cannot change the country. And who do you think you are that you can fix those situations? Those situations has been there. It's like, God help me, I will do something about it. I say, mark my word. You might not see, you might take me as nobody right now. I said, but time will come, you will remember that I said this word. So they started looking at me funny, but please leave us alone. You go and take care of your children first and take care of your life before you're going to transform a nation. Because like that's been, and then this book came out, I was like, whoa. Like it was like an answer to my prayer. Like there's solutions there that I can use and impact my nation. So it's like, so now they still don't believe me, but I think
No,
you guys don't know
but
what's coming.
what matters is not what happens to people around you or what happens around you. In fact, what really matters is what has happened within you, because
Yes.
we are made to live from inside out, not being influenced by outside in.
Right.
Our decisions are not influenced by what's happening outside, but we
Right.
take our decision and we live our life through something going on, what we know is happening to us inside. So inside, you are a new person. So now you bring that reality of the change that has happened inside of you to bring about and create the reality that you see outside of you to fall in line with the reality that is coming out of you. So it is what is coming out of you that will now create the reality outside. But that is why it's more important to change inside, so that that inside change will now be modelized and be created in the outside world. So we don't care what everybody is saying right now. What has happened inside you is where the victory really is.
Yes. Yeah, I truly believe that, because like the kind of person that I was a year ago, like I've seen the transformation from like inside, because the way I used to think before, the way I used to reason before, I don't reason like that anymore with people. Like it's different. Like I cannot, like I felt like my head grew bigger or something. Like I can feel it. Like even my children, like everybody around me, they can see the changes. It's like what's wrong? You changed. There's something different about you, and stuff like that. Like my thinking now, the way I think, I don't know, it's different. It even scares me sometimes. It's like it scares me just the way I think sometimes. It's like, okay. But God is good. Like I love my life now. I love my life like now. I know I'm more fulfilled right now, and I have more happiness right now, more peace.
Than when you were looking for all those men or waiting for all those men, and even maybe better than when you had them.
Yeah.
Because most of
I'm not even thinking about it. It's like when even like Facebook, because I do broadcast and men will be and talking. I was like, look at you, like please go, like go do something else, please. Like I'm not attracted to that anymore. I'm more attracted to transforming, changing something. That's what I'm more attracted to. I'm not attracted to like men, like they are. That's my mentality. Like, oh, I see something. Oh, how can I fix it? How can I be of a solution to that thing? So that's the way I think right now. Like, if somebody comes with a problem or telling me something, my thinking is like, how can I help you? How can I make it better? So that's my thinking right now. Like, man does not exist in my brain anymore, or the things that I was chasing. Even sometimes people look at me crazy, like for job. Oh, how come you're not working? It's like I'm in school right now, and I will go and volunteer. I volunteer to the elderly home. I go there for hours, and the people there, they look at me. Why would you go find a job? Why are you volunteering? The time that you volunteering, you can make money. I said, no, that's not important to me. I say, I'm coming here, makes me happy, makes me fulfill, helping these people, seeing smile on their face, make me feel better. I'm more satisfied than having money. And they cannot wrap their head around it. It's like, okay, I'm making money. I don't work for free and stuff like that. It's like, no, it gives me really peace. Like, do this for nothing. They don't have to pay me. I volunteer myself in a lot of things to do it. I say, don't have to pay me. I will do it. As long as people are happy, if somebody benefits from it, that gives me peace. I'm happy.
Now, this book here, do you have a copy right here with you?
Yeah.
Can you show it to us? Yeah. You are born to make your nation great. Now, the lower part of it, can you read the second title?
It says how to change a nation through personal responsibility.
Yeah, so this is talking about changing a nation.
Mm-hmm.
Then it talks about personal responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not too heavy for an ordinary person?
No. It's not. Like I used to say it's impossible, but reading this book, it is not impossible. You can do it. You just, I know a lot of people depend on the government. Oh, the government need to do this, or they need to fix this. But no, it's our responsibility to fix the problem. We see the problem and you bring the solution to it. Don't wait for the government to fix fix it, but you need to bring the solution because you are the one seeing the problem. God is telling you because you're seeing it, you are supposed to bring solution to that problem. But we're depending on government so much that things are not getting done. Like a lot of us are wasting our time in things that are not really important when we can be history makers, solving a problem in the society. Yeah, it's not a heavy book. I love this book.
Yeah, so taking personal responsibility for your nation.
Yeah.
And taking personal responsibility to change a nation. So, did you ever think about that? That, it is not the government that is supposed to change the nation, but the individual before this book?
No, I always thought it was the responsibility of the government to change the nation. I thought, it's like, okay, like for me, I was thinking, why is the government not, like for me, my heart, like the nation that I want to transform is the youth of Sierra Leone. And also here in Canada, I want to change the life of the youth here in a way, like because there's a lot of depression here, the suicide rate is really high here. Like, so I am the solution. I can bring solution to that. So it's like thinking, and people might look at me, they don't believe me, but I know I can do it because I am the solution. I will bring solution to it. So like the educational system here, they're waiting for the government to fix the educational system, but everybody is just complaining and complaining. Why are we not doing? But what part are you playing in the educational system? What part are you doing? But nobody's doing. They're just waiting, and some of the people are just waiting for God. Oh, God, please do something. God, please do something. And God is saying, I'm waiting for you to do something, and you're not doing anything. Because God will never leave heaven to come here. The reason why we are here is for us to take personal responsibility and fix the situation, the problem in the nation. But we are failing. We are not doing our duty that we were born to and put here on earth for. We're still waiting and complaining. You can complain or you can just go do the action and do it and fix it. Then the government, not depending on the government or waiting for the government. For me, I've taken the personal responsibility. I'm not going to wait for the government. And I know what God has put into my heart for my nation. And nothing's going to stop that. I already started by doing my podcast just to change the mindset of the people because the mindset needs to be changed first. Because if the mindset is not changed, it is very hard to transform people, but the mindset has to change. So once the mindset change and they're looking at something in a better picture, say, oh, like the light bulb needs to switch, come on, in order. So I'm doing my own part. People might think, oh, you're foolish or something, but I know what I'm doing and I know what God has put into my heart to change it. I will do it. I don't know when God is going to help me do it, but I am going to do it. I'm going to take that personal responsibility to do that.
Brilliant. Yeah. Now, if you look at that same book you are holding, you will see that there is a quotation just at the top of it.
Yes.
Would you like to read it?
It said there is two primary choices in life: to accept conditions as they exist or accept the responsibility for changing them.
Say that again.
There are two primary choices in life: to accept conditions as they exist or accept responsibility to change them.
Whew.
I know. Yeah. A lot of people are accepting the condition. They don't want to change. They don't want to do anything. They just have accepted it. Well, like some people are living in poverty. They just accept it, say, well, guess what? My mom, my dad, my generation, they were poor. So this is who I am going to be. I'm just going to be poor. If I'm making it a little bit, well, I'm a little bit successful. They don't want to put the work into it to be better or to transform themselves. They just accepted it. So this is what they quote. If you take the responsibility that, hey, yeah, my parents were poor, they didn't have, but I'm going to be better. I'm going to change that. Then you can do that. But if you just accept it, I'm going to be poor, then you're going to be poor forever. But when you take the responsibility to say, no, I am not going to be poor. I am going to do better. I'm going to do something to my life. And guess what? It will happen because God has given us the power. He has given us all the tools. All the tools are inside of us. It's embedded in us. It's for us to locate it and get it out. And then we'll be able to become who God wants us to become.
Yeah, so there are basically two choices in life, according to that quotation.
Yes.
To accept things and just leave them the way they are, or to take up responsibility to change reality.
Yes.
So now, then let's go back to the topic of the book itself. You are born to make your nation great.
Yes.
Doesn't that seem heavy? Putting a heavy load on yourself?
Before, with my previous mindset, I would think that, whoa, that's a really difficult task. But the person that I've become now, I know who my God is, and I know what He represents. This is easy. It's easy to do. It's very easy. It is not hard. People might, when you have the previous concept of, like, I would think that, no, that's not me. But now, when I've discovered who I am, I know that, yes, I am born to make my nation great. I am born. This is who I am. This is why I exist. This is why God created me and put me on earth to take dominion and to transform nation, to change people's life. This is why we were born. And too sad that I wasted a lot of years chasing after wrong things, but I'm not wasting any more time. I'm hitting the ground running right now. So yeah, it is not. I know it's intimidated, but say you're a woman. How are you going to do that? I am going to do that.
Yeah, I wanted to. You remember when we were at the HMT?
Yes.
We had Harry there. Harry was a Nigerian guy that was in the class, and he said, before the HMT, if not for the teachings and before he started coming to the platform, that this is a kind of book that not just him alone, but most Nigerians of his age and of his generation would never look at, because say, you are born to make your nation. No, I'm not born to be. I'm not a politician. That's not for me. Because of the mindset of personal survival, personal success. And that is why he would reject this and say, no, this is not for me. And that is what we are changing. And that's what you said, that you used to be like that. And that now has changed. Could that be the reason why most of our countries are the way they are? Because we are too focused on just our well-being rather than taking responsibility for our nations.
Yeah, it plays a real role for sure. Like people don't want to take personal responsibility. With our mindsets, the way we were raised or culture have raised up in a way that it's the politician's job, it's the government's job to do that. It is not your job to go transform a nation. It's not your job to be fixing problems. It's not your job. Your job as a woman, or it's for you to take care of your family, to get married and have kids and raise your children and take care of your man, because that's what society have done to people. So this book, like as I said previously, I would never ever dare. It's like, no, like I need to take care of my kids. I need to take care of my husband. I need to go to work. That's all, because that's what we are cultured into. So, but that HMT really even take me another level. It took me to another level, because when I saw it, because I was thinking, when you did the Law and Order one was really good. But then I put in my heart, I need to go to Ukraine. That was God told me after the law and order in January. And God told me specifically, you need to be in Ukraine the next HMT. And I was like, okay, God. So okay, I'll do. And I was getting all excited, but there was lots of pressure that was coming that I could have not made it there. But then I was looking through YouTube, and then you did an invitation about you were talking about nations. It's like, oh my God. I have like cold breath. I'll go right through my body. It's like, that's me, that's me, that's me. I need to be there. I need to do everything now to be there. But I didn't know what God was telling me about in January. But then when I saw it, it's like, I cannot miss this one. I cannot miss this one because that is exactly me. And then when I was going there and I said, God, I need answers. I need answers how I can transform my nation, how I can make my nation great. So I need answers. And when I get there, I have all the answers. And it looks like it was easy because I was being scared to, wow, I'm just a small woman. How am I going to challenge and stuff? That was I was thinking and putting myself down. But when I go there, it looks like it's not impossible. You can do it. Yeah.
Now, tell me, what were the first impression that you had going through this book? What were your first impression reading it? Just try to remember.
When I was reading it, the first one is like the responsibility one. It's like it's your responsibility to change your nation. It's your responsibility to do this. And I was like, really? My responsibility? I thought it was the government's responsibility. But reading through it, it's like, oh, and it is showing you how you can fix your nation, and it's showing you the things that are happening that you can bring solution to. I was like, wow, I can do that. Like, oh, wow. And then he talks about the corruption that is going on in Nigeria. It's the same for Africa. And then he's talking about it, and he makes it so simply that, wow, this is the problem. This is how we can solve it. And he talks about so many things that it was just like an answered prayer for me. It was an answered prayer for me because those things I've been thinking about it in my head. Oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to solve this problem? But then reading to it, it was like, there's your answer. There's your answer. This how it's like almost like a manual right there for me. Like you can just use this, implement this, and bring it, and then boom, here you go. So that was going through my mind. Like he also talked about family, how the value system, like it's very important. He talked about value system there, and like, and the value system is so lack in Africa. That is why the country is the way it is because nobody value anything. Like they don't value anything. Like in the HMT, we're talking about honesty, sincerity, and honesty, love. Like it's not there. But if you bring that into society, you try to propagate it and legislate it in a society, and it will become so easy to transform a nation.
Beautiful. Okay, now I want you to tell me maybe 10 main lessons or points, or maybe you would like to go through the chapter by chapter, or you would like to summarize the book. You could do different ways. You could do maybe point by point, or the main points that you got for yourself, or you could do chapter by chapter, of this book, You Are Born to Make Your Nation Great.
So I have some stuff down here. So one of this is the book was talking about is like, what is your personal responsibility? So in that sense, like the local problems that is going on, like the global things that are going on, what can you do? What can you bring? How can you change the situation? Because all of us need to play a part in those things. If you're waiting for other people to do something and you're not doing your part, the problem is just going to get bigger and bigger. But if all of us take a piece, it's like a puzzle. Everybody take put the piece of the puzzle, we can solve all the problems in the society. And also, it was talking about also in the chapter, God is not to blame. And a lot of people are blaming God. Oh God, why can't you just come down and just wipe out the whole earth? But God is not to blame, because you were talking also in Genesis that God cursed the ground. God cursed the ground for us human, and is Jesus Christ came to save us. It's us, our responsibility to save the land, and we're not doing it, and we are going through other things, but we are responsible to save the land. And all the thorns and thistles that are on the ground, we are supposed to minimize it, but today we're not doing it. Instead, we're bringing more thorns and thistles in the ground, and we need to stop doing that, and we need to follow the biblical principle, because God created and He put everything, a manual in the Bible that we need to follow, but we're not doing this today. So we should stop blaming God, and we're supposed to start taking responsibility of it. And the other thing too, we're supposed to depending on the government to solve the problems, but us need to do our own part. Like if you're a teacher, but you saw problem, to find a way how you can develop those kids and stuff instead of waiting on the government to do those solutions. If you're a nurse, bring your own ideas to the nursing and how you can better it, instead of saying, I'm not just going to do anything, I'm just going to sit here, I'm just going to wait. No, you have your brain, God has putting something into you. You need to bring it wherever you go. You need to bring the kingdom of God with you. You need to do things that is going to benefit everybody, not only benefit few people, but everybody. So also you talk about like the role of the government. Like the governments have their own role. They have their own role that they were supposed to do, but us as a citizen, we have our own role too to play into transforming a nation. So the other thing too in chapter 2 that is like, why you're born as I'm born as a Sierra Leonean, or why you're born as a Nigerian. You are born for a reason, because I'm starting now, because I went through the HMT. I'm starting to decode my country. I'm starting to look at the national anthem. I'm starting to look at the coat of arms. I'm starting to look at the flag, like what it meant. So we need to keep that in our country in order. But once we started falling away from those things that the nation was built for, then guess what? The calamity and stuff started coming into that land. That's also I learned from the book. And also you're talking about country failing. Why are country failing today? The country are failing because we are not taking personal responsibility. We are not doing our own part as a citizen. We're just blaming and complaining and about things and not doing nothing about it. We're just being a complainer. And also, I think it was chapter 3 that it talks about it's talking about the conversion and compounder. So conversion, we as a citizen, we're supposed to be solving problems. So but the compounders are so majority. It's like 90% are the compounder. They're just complaining. Oh, why is the road is not fixed? Oh, where are children out of school? Oh, why there is no electricity? Why is this? They're just complaining. Why is the government not doing well? But we, as a citizen, we are supposed to be bringing solutions to those things, building all the roads and fixing the educational system and all that kind of stuff. But there are more compounders more than converters in Africa, all over the world. So your problem is not a problem until you make it a problem. So like people see everything as, oh, it's a problem, there's a problem.
Yeah, because everybody is always focused on their own problem.
Yes,
But your problem is really not a problem until you make it a problem.
Yes. So yeah,
But if you begin to overlook your problem and begin to solve the problem of others who are worse than you and the society, then you discover that you don't really have a problem.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but people don't realize that. But they think that, look at me. I have to take care of my kids. Oh, I have to work. Oh, I have to. They're just complaining. But like I used to, for example, I used to be like that. I thought that I was, I thought I was worse. Like I was complaining. Oh, like everybody needs to pity me. Or what about me? What about me? It's like pity. Everybody's like.
And that's a good point you are making. Because once you begin to see your own problems, you begin to do self-pity party. You begin to pity yourself. And when you are pitying yourself that way, what happens is your problem is compounding. That is how we find the compounders. You compound your problem. But when you begin to take responsibility, you convert your problem by challenging the problems ahead of you. You are converting your problem to opportunities. But when you are doing self-pity, you are compounding the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's I also learned. Like I've been actually trying to do that with my life. Like my situation that I went through. I started turning it around like for something better instead of sitting at home and pitying myself and say, oh, like I don't know if I told you, but I was in a car accident two and a half years ago. That is the reason why I'm not working, because I tried. But even though I went through the accident, I was prevented from working and doing my job to the better. But I was always finding a solution, like convert to say, okay, I can't work, but I can do this. So that's why I started volunteering. Okay, I can sew into people, but then people's like, why don't you just go? That's how you like. No, this makes me happy. Like I know I'm not working, but it makes me happy. So I started fighting instead of sitting at home. Like some people would sit at home, said, oh, well, I'm in an accident, well, I'm in pain. I'm not gonna do anything with my life. I'm just gonna sit here and I'm just gonna depend on the government. But that's not me. Starting listening to Unite, that's not me. Even though I will go and help in the community, I will not pitying myself and staying home. So people need to stop doing that, pitying themselves, but they need to take their situation, whatever situation, and try and go and help those people that are similar in that situation. Don't just sit at home, because sitting at home is not going to help you in any way. It's just going to make you go crazy, and it's the side effect is not good. But you need to move. You need to working and doing something with your life.
It's when you do that, you're actually helping to make your nation great.
Yeah, but people don't know that. The people that's like, no, I'm just going to sit home and binge watch TV, or that's what people do. They binge watch the TV episode. Oh, and then they can't complain. Oh, my life. Like sometimes I see people complain about their life. I look at them and I say, really? Like, you're complaining about that? That's not a problem to me. They look at, oh, what are you talking about? But So what else?
You are in chapter 2 or you go into chapter 3 or chapter 2, or you going by your lesson, by your point?
Yeah, I go.
You can go by your point. Go by your point.
Yeah, I go by my point. Sorry, my phone. I'm just going to turn it off.
Okay. Sorry, people.
Somebody's interrupting me. Sorry. I apologize for that.
That's what happens when you don't shut it off before the interview.
Well, it's my land phone. My cell phone is off. Usually my land phone does not ring.
I think they couldn't get you on your cell phone. That's why they... Yeah, okay. Yeah. So what's your next point?
So the other point I was saying, your action may trigger a chain of reaction. So what is he talking about here? Like some people don't want to take the first step because they're thinking that, oh, what people are gonna say? They started looking but you don't know that your first action might bring a change that everybody will see that, oh, he did that, and everybody will follow suit and try to change the nation. But a lot of people don't want to take the first step
Yeah,
because
for example, I just finished doing a series on Pastor Adelaja and the God of Mammon. It has been a very, very enlightening and very, very revolutionary series. And but you see, if someone who had that video for over 10 years, and that person who had the video didn't do anything with it,
right,
and the person just decided to take an action and send it to me, and say maybe you can do something with it. One little action, he could have said, I have had it for 10 years. I cannot do anything with it. What difference would that make? If I send it to Pastor Sunday now, who knows? He might not believe it. He might not take it. He might not do anything with it. What can he do about it? What can that make? What difference can that make? But that one little action, just send the video. Link, send it the video. Just send it the video.
Wow.
That has led to a whole big revolution right now in Nigeria and all over the world. Just because somebody just sent a video.
Yeah.
So your one action could lead to a chain reaction. That is why it's always better to do something than not to do it. One little action could lead to a whole chain of reactions.
Yeah, it is very important. Like people learn that and people take
because
action.
People should not undervalue, underestimate what little actions can do.
Yeah, you don't never know until you take that step. Like if you don't take the step, you're never gonna know. But
another example I didn't put in the book. Another example is I was living in the village, and I couldn't pay for my high school graduation exams. And that in Nigeria, that was 50 naira. 50 naira, like not too big, but my whole family couldn't come up with 50 naira at that point. So one distant relative from town, just decided that 50 naira is not a big deal for me. She had a car. If you have a car, 50 naira is nothing. So she just decided to, okay, take it. Let me give him. And I was just about to to be kicked out of the exam. And I paid for that 50 naira. She paid for that 50 naira. And 20 years later, this was the boy she paid for. She didn't even remember that she paid for it. She didn't even remember. But then she was hearing from all over the country this name, and she said, that name sounds familiar. Is that my relative? Yeah, that is the boy, 19-year-old that you paid for, 17-year-old or 18-year-old you paid for.
Yeah.
One little action. Look at where I am today. Nobody even knows her. Nobody even knows who she is.
No.
Not even in the country, not even in the city where she lives, talk less of in the nation or all over the world. One little action to pay for somebody's school fees, one exam, not even twice, just one time, one exam. Look where that put me. You should not underemphasize or underestimate the value of any action, of taking an action.
Yeah, it is. It's really important. Like for me, like I've been doing, like God has been putting so many things in me, like things that I was not doing before. I started doing it, and people think that, oh, it looks like you have money or something. It's like, no, I don't have money, because I started a little bit in my country that I pay for like kids education for like the whole term. So I will send money to somebody, say, can you find a bunch of kids like randomly and just go and pay? And sometimes I will send money. It's like, okay, go and give food to buy food to people in the streets and just go give it. So people will look at me. You must have a lot of money that you like. No, I don't have money. It's like, but I just feel like I have to do it because I started living my life. It's like I want to be led by the Spirit. I don't want to be led by the flesh anymore. I want to be led by the Spirit. Like anything that God led me into or make me want to do, I want to do it. So I started living. It's like, no, I don't want to live that fleshly life anymore. So anything that God dropped into me or put into me, I will take action. I will do it. And some people might think that, oh, you're crazy. Why are you doing all this thing? But
What's your next point?
Yeah. So the other point too, my point here, I didn't have enough points there. The other thing too that speaks to me here is about the family. I'm just going to skip to the family. It's chapter.
It doesn't matter the chapter. Yeah, just tell us what to touch you.
About raising family. That one of the value system that we lack as a family raising kids, because the first 5 years of a kid when they're developing, that's when we need to invest our time into them. We need to invest the value into them, because when you spend that the first 5 years of their life, they will never depart from that. But if you just let them do whatever, and then once they pass that 5 years, then you want to train them in a way, it's going to be hard for you to retrain them. But if you, that first 5 years, put value into them, put like biblical value into them, teach them about God, how to love, how to respect, how to be caring, how to compassion. We all need to do it as a nation. When you have your kids, we need to do that thing and add them, because when they grow up, they're not going to be depart from that value system that you have invested in them. They're going to see somebody, they're going to love them. They're not going to say, and they're not going to be sharing it, because they have already grown up in that value system. But we lack that as in Canada here. Like, kids are wayward. They disrespect. They have no respect because the value system is not taught in them. Like for me as a parent, like I didn't have like a role model, but the things that I'm learning, I'm trying to invest into my kids.
So what does that book say about that aspect? What is the way the book is saying we could approach that to resolve family issues? What particularly touched you in the book about family?
That we need to allow our kids to like ask questions. Like we need to allow them, but like in Africa, it's forbidden for you to ask questions. Like when your child asks and is curious about something, you need to let them explore and give them answers, because that's how they're gonna grow. But not by turning them down, not wanting them to explore or ask you questions, will hinder them in the future. So it is very important that we allow them to ask us questions, and so that was really, like, for me, like, because I grew up, my parent, I will never, if he said do something, why, you ask them why, because I said so. You must do it. Like, so they discourage you. I said so. Don't ask me questions. I started raising, I'm guilty of that. I started raising my kids, so sometimes they ask me questions. Mom, why? I said, because I said so. Because I'm the boss. Because I am your mom. But now my mentality is like, okay, I just explained to them, okay, this is the reason why I want you to do.
But how can that help make the nation great?
Because if everybody, like, if the kids are thinking like that, because if, for example, we've been doing certain things for forever, and nobody knows why we're doing it, but by asking questions can open up something and say, oh, well, really, we don't really need to do this. Like, there's an improvement. We can do it this way. But if you don't ask questions, you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it again, it's just going to be over and over, and it's not a point for you to do it.
The country will never change.
Yeah. because you're just repeating the same thing, but you don't even know what you're doing. You say, oh, well, because my great grandfather do it and generation do it, so I have to do it. But you don't know the point of doing it. So we need to know the point of doing something that can help to transform a nation in a way. If you know
Yes,
why
because
you do
what the book
something.
is talking about in that sense is that family is one of the bedrock and the place where nations are changed. And
Yeah.
if you are able to change the value system of your family, then you will be able to change the nation.
Yeah.
But apart from family, what are the other areas that were mentioned that touch you in this book?
Um,
And I also use a lot of examples in these books. Maybe there is any particular example that that you remember or that really minister to you, or any other point that you apart from the family point that really you think touched you.
the other thing too, like the poor education, and then it talks about like the drug and crime, the crime rate in Nigeria and stuff. That um, the reason why the education is really poor.
Yeah, so let me lay the background for you. So another area, another way of changing the nation is to change the value system of education. If you are
Right.
able to influence the educational sphere, just like the family, if you are able to change the educational values and put the right values in the education, because everybody goes through educational system, that way you'll be able to change the whole country. Just like
Yeah.
everybody grows up in a family, that way you'll be able to change the value system. Yeah, go ahead, please.
So yeah, so like the educational system, if they teach them like the principle of God and teach them how to be caring and how to be respectful, how to be honest, how to be sincere, and how to be like justice. If you put them in the educational system and everybody knows that, so when they go out into the nation, they will able to bring it with them. But because that one is lack in the school, so whatever they go out in the street, they don't know about justice. There's no justice in it. There's no righteousness. Everybody, because the educational system it's poor, and they're not teaching those values into the children in the educational system. Because whatever they teach there, that is what is gonna get out there. For like example, I'm gonna give example here in Canada right now that like right now they're gonna be teaching about sex education, and they're teaching about how gay and lesbians is okay, like in the educational system. So like those kids are little, and now they're putting them, they don't know better, so now they're teaching them that in school. So when they go out, they're going to bring it into the society. But if they teach them the biblical principle in the classroom, when they go out, they're going to know the truth. They're going to differentiate from the truth and the right. But if it's not done in the educational system, that's why we have the nation that we have, because they're not teaching them those
Value systems. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Any other point you would like to mention in the book? I want to remind our friends that we are examining this book here, which is called "You Are Born to Make Your Nation Great." You are born to make your nation great. So this is the book, and it's one of my latest books. It's actually talking about taking personal responsibility, for a nation. That it's not just the government that is supposed to change a nation, but how to change a nation through personal responsibility of every citizen. Yep.
So the other point too that really like spoke to me here is helping your government create a policy and implementation.
Yeah.
So as a citizen, we need to help. Like churches, actually, they're supposed to be in that place helping the government in creating policy based on biblical principle. But today, unfortunately, they lack that. They are doing their own part. They're doing what they think that it's from God, but they're not doing that. But if if, like, for example, the churches, the big pastor, the man of God, the time they having their solitude, or say they go into the mountain, if they go to God and finding solution, they're supposed to bring in the solution to the government, asking God and decoding the Bible and say, hey God, what are you saying? There is this problem going on. How can we solve this problem? And they should be coming with the answer. But unfortunately, they're not doing it. And we need to bring the policy that is going to benefit everybody of us. But unfortunately, we're all we're doing is complaining and not doing anything in influencing the policy. Like, for example, so I'm gonna just relate in Canada right now. Like, they're making policies that is far away from the Bible, that it's abomination to God. But because we the Christians are not standing up and we're not taking our responsibility, we're not taking our place to transform. So other people are making decisions on our behalf, and we are the one that's going to suffer because of them making policy that is against God principle. That's what I got from there too.
Actually, this book, for people who want to know how to get the book, let me just say a few words about that.
Okay.
While you are getting ready for the next point. So this book, you can get it on Amazon. You can read it for free actually on Kindle, Kindle Unlimited on Amazon. So Kindle Unlimited is, you have to register for it, so you can get to read it for free. If not, then you have to go to Amazon and buy a copy of it, either electronic or physical. Otherwise, you can get it also in Nigeria through Chioma. If you look at the, sometimes in the end of our program, you see the telephone number of Chioma. And also, you can write to my office, dssbooks@gmail.com. Or you could go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com/books. sundayadelajablog.com/books. All right. Here we are.
The other one too, it's about the healthcare system.
Yep.
The quality of health. Like what I got from it, like the quality of the health. Like we really, as a human being, we complain about our health a lot, but we're not doing anything about our own health. We are responsible for our health. If we're putting things into our body and then we get sick, it's our fault that we're getting sick, because God created us. We're supposed to take care of our body, because if we're not eating vegetables, we're not eating fruits, and we're not putting the right things into our body, that is why we are sick. That's why there is cancer. That is why there is all these diseases, because we're not taking responsibility. Like, for example, if the nation is not cleaning the environment so it's healthy, because we're breathing that. But if we're not taking responsibility to make sure the country is clean, not throwing our trash in the ground, or going around and litter, or some people urinate in the streets and do all the stuff, it's coming back to us. So we need to do something about the healthcare system in that aspect, and we need to exercise. Like, people don't exercise, and we will blame, it's God that is responsible for my health. But no, it's you. You need to eat the right food. You need to put the right food into your body. You need to exercise. You need to sleep. You need to have a balanced life. But when you don't do that, it's bad. And also in the healthcare system too, they need to put policies in place that is going to benefit everybody. But usually they put policy in place that does not really benefit people. Like, it sometimes work against the people, and it's really sad that it's happening in healthcare. Like, in Canada, I pick on Canada again. The healthcare system, we have free healthcare system, but the healthcare system is so corrupt in itself. There is no, like, doctors. You might be sick. You can't even you might be sick. It will take months for from countries or from some cities. It will take you months for you to see a specialist. Months. And then by the time your situation already get worse, but we can prevent. We should learn how to prevent, because we can prevent sickness by doing things that will benefit our body. Prevention is better than cure. It's a African proverb. Prevention is better than cure. So you can prevent a lot of things in order for you not to be sick.
Yeah, that's a good point in this book, because it talks about not just providing health service, but for you to be born great, that you are born to make your nation great, you've got to be healthy. You've got to be in a good state of health to make your nation great. So for you to bring health for others, you've got to be fit yourself. And that's one aspect of it. And then the other aspect of it is to build a fit nation, a country of people that are fit. And but the next question I would like to ask you is, what are the things you have started to do? Because you said you have a burden for Sierra Leone, and Sierra Leone is who you want, I mean, where you want to really influence, apart from Canada. What and even for Canada, I know you started your daily broadcast. Tell us about that. What have you started to do?
I do my daily broadcast, and so I use some of your teachings and your books, and I bring it and put it in the way that it will fit my country in Sierra Leone.
Beautiful.
And also, when I came back from Ukraine, I went to talk to the mayor of Thunder Bay. I went to talk to the mayor, and I told him, I said, I am the solution. It should probably look at me, this black lady, she's crazy. What is she talking about? I said, I'm a solution. I brought solution. I have a plan how I can help the suicide rates in this country and all the drug addiction people. I say I have a plan, because I bought the book, the Pastor Natasha book about the rehabilitation and for the family. So I brought him to him. I said there is a solution here that I can teach the people and help them. So he connects me to the crisis prevention lady that is in charge of that. But because I'm in school right now, this is my last week, I'm so busy doing my final exam. So next week, I'm going to be working more and follow up with them. Also, I went to the shelter house. There is a shelter house here in Thunder Bay. I went to the shelter house. I also told them that, hey, I have a solution that I can help the people that comes here to help them with their addiction and stuff. And also, I went to the social housing, here where people go when they need help. And I also went and talked to the manager here, but he told me he can't make any decision, so he have to talk to the upper manager. But nobody get back to me. But the only reason why I'm not following up, but next week I'm gonna be free. I'm gonna be following up with them. Say, okay, when can I start? When can I do this thing? So those are the three areas that I want to tackle here in Thunder Bay. And for Sierra Leone, it's the educational system there. I had a semi-proposal that I have, but because I am lacking the resources right now, but I'm talking to somebody, a friend of mine down there, that he's gonna be looking for I'm looking for a piece of property that they found, but everything you need money. And because of my financial situation right now, so I can't really move faster in Sierra Leone, but I can move faster here in Thunder Bay. But I'm putting things in place, like looking for a piece of property. But even before looking for the piece of property, I've been talking to a friend of mine that I need to register like a organization or something. So he's gonna be, because of the election that we just had there, so things are not really flowing right now because of the election. But I told him to look for like an apartment or a building where, even if I don't have the money for the property right now, but I can find a building where they can bring the kids, the youth, and use some of your teachings and teach them in that. So he's working on that, but he told me that things are really slowing down because of the election. And also I send money pay for like the educational, like for fee for the kids, and sometimes I send money to just for them to like buy gift or food or for the parents or something. So that's what I have right now that I'm doing. So
Beautiful.
Sierra Leone is a little bit slower, but I'm doing the broadcast just to change their concepts, just to teach them in some. But next week I will start
Because
and
there is
going
no,
back and follow up
it's
with the
going to be a
mail
lot
and
of,
stuff like
it's going
that.
to be a lot of waste if you don't start by changing people's mindset.
Yeah. So that's what I am doing right now. And some people are really, because I even have a WhatsApp group that I've been sending your teaching there. I will be doing my own teaching and sending stuff. So like a lot of people in the group are benefiting from it, and they're giving me testimonies like, wow, like keep, because one time nobody was responding, so I thought that's okay. So I sent a message like, okay, are you guys really learning anything from this group? Are you guys getting anything? I said, if you guys not getting anything, I said I would just close it. And then people like, no, 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 don't close it. And then everybody started responding like, no, no, don't close it. It's really benefiting. It's helping me. So it's like, okay, then I will keep it. So like everybody in my contact list, like they're in Africa, I create the WhatsApp group. They've been seeing improvement in their life too, and so which is good. It's helping them. What else am I doing? And I told you about my volunteer. I volunteer already in the community, but this summer it's gonna be really intense for me, and that I want to really impact, do more, because since I'm not working, I'm not doing anything, so I'm gonna be really doing more of
You
the
know,
outputting.
Susan, Matilda, what you are saying and what I've heard from you so far today is mind blowing for a single lady and a single mom. You have two kids,
Yeah.
no husband, no support system, no family over there.
Right.
Just you and your kids. And for you to now be taking responsibility instead of you crying and looking for help and complaining and pitying yourself, you're turning the table around.
Yeah.
You're turning it over. And that is absolutely amazing. That means God has succeeded in building a kind of strength in you, a kind of stalwart in you. And you have discovered something that is more than the ordinary. You have been transferred and transformed from being just a regular single lady girl complaining and having problems and just living in her problems and sorrows into somebody that is now declaring that I am born
To make my nation great.
That's
I put it on my Facebook. It's like I'm the solution to Thunder Bay and Sierra Leone.
but people will say it means you don't have problems. That's good for you. But they don't know that it's not because you don't have problems, it's because you discovered life, what life is all about.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Well, Susan, I have to appreciate you for being who you are and for the new Susan, new you that you are evolving into, and the world is waiting for you.
Yes.
The sky is your limit,
Yeah.
and those nations are at your feet. Thank you so very much. Greetings to your two daughters.
Yes.
And I hope you'll be back tonight, in our places tonight.
I will not miss that.
So in the next 30 minutes, I'm coming back on. There is a church they call Christ Embassy. I don't know if you know about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is, they have a pastor.
Right.